never give up my faith of meeting you. I will keep my faith until the end of my life. I will fall, but trust in you to get me back up.
Hi guys, you're with your girl Christine, Pushing Through the Pain. If you're new here, Pushing Through the Pain is all about anyone that wants to overcome their pain, no matter what the pain was, and push through their life and live their life purpose. We discuss faith, planning, goals, and budgeting. I really want to start putting that in the beginning of my videos so everyone can know kind of what I'm promoting and what my mission is and my purpose is in life. So if you're new, welcome, welcome. If you're not, thank you for returning. And today in this video, we are going to discuss 5 tips for budgeting that actually work. So I've been budgeting for a while now. It's my go-to thing when it comes down to money. It makes me feel very empowered financially, and it makes me feel like I kind of like have a hold on what's going on financially in my life, whether I have goals to better my finances or just to be able to maintain my finances. I feel like everything in my life that I have to manage on a daily basis, I'm going to have a system for, and budgeting is one of those systems. And sometimes when you go through pain and you go through trauma, for me it was my son. He got hit by a car in 2021. It was very hard to budget. It was very hard to pay bills. It was very hard to clean. It was very hard to do anything. So these are different systems and ways that I have been using in the past. And if I didn't have these in place when he passed, I'm not sure if I would have made it through, to be honest with you. Definitely through the grace of God, for sure. But I feel like God had installed these things in me in order to be able to still function even after his passing. So I want to go ahead and get into it. I got to take a break, sorry. I want to go ahead and get into it, and I am going to look at my notes because I do have a blog on this. I do have a website. It's PushingthroughthePain.com. Please go check it out. I have a Facebook page. I have a YouTube page. I have a Pinterest. So please check out my different platforms and, you know, give some feedback, whatever you feel would be best on the content that I'm putting out. I feel like this is my purpose. This is why God put me on this earth, and I take it very seriously, and I'm very passionate about it. So let's jump into it. The first tip I want to give for budgeting. Oh, I'm on tip 2. Okay, tip 1, start tracking all money coming in and out. This is super, super important. It's important so that you can make a budget that actually works. So that's kind of why it's in the title, where it actually works, because sometimes we get unrealistic about some things. Like we say, oh, I'm only gonna spend $20 on gas this week, and knowing you're going to need at least $60 on gas. So it's very important that you track your spending for one whole pay period. So if you get paid weekly, you're going to track how much or what you spend for that week. Or if you get paid every 2 weeks, you're going to track what you spend within that 2 weeks. Or if you get paid for a month, once a month, you're going to track everything that you paid for once a month. And then it'll allow you to help create a realistic spending habit. So if you say in 2 weeks you get paid, typically people get paid bi-weekly. So you notice that you spent $150 1 week on groceries, and then another $150 the next week on groceries. Well, you're going to have to take $300 out for groceries. So it's very important that you track what's coming in and what's going out, so that you can have a realistic budget at the end of the month that will suffice for everything that you're spending your money on. without this, I'm not sure how successful you would be in budgeting, because you're kind of just throwing out estimates and things like this. And I see it being very chaotic. So the very first thing is to most definitely track what you're spending and how much you're spending it on. The next tip that I want to give is going to be make financial goals. For me, let me do this. Okay. Make financial goals. This is very, very, very important for me. Financial goals, there's no point in me budgeting. And I'm just speaking for myself. There's no point in me budgeting if I don't have a goal. There's just no point. There's no point in me sitting up here trying to manage my money and try to figure everything out if I don't have a point for it. Excuse me. It's super hot today. Gotta stay hydrated. But if you don't have a purpose, I feel like anything that I do in my life, it has to have a purpose. It has to have a reason. I have to have a goal. I have to have passion for it, honestly. So when you're making your budget that's realistic, you need to have goals. You need to understand what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to achieve in your budgeting. Are you trying to be able to go on a vacation? Are you trying to make sure all your bills are getting paid? Are you trying to make sure you're going to save $10,000? Whatever the goal is, your goal can be even as small as just making sure everything gets paid every single month on time. Whatever the financial goal is, you need to have a financial goal, and I would strongly suggest you write it down wherever you're putting your budget. And whatever, I use a journal. I love my journal. Everything that's important to me is in my journal. If you're on my page, if you're on my site, you guys already know this is my go-to guru. Everything that I have to manage is in my journal. And I think I'm jumping the gun because this comes later on in the tips, but find a way to make financial goals. It's very important, and more importantly, it's be realistic. Be realistic in whatever you decide is going to be your financial goal. I would hate for you to have a financial goal that just depresses you. Because that defeats the whole purpose of making a financial goal. So please make your financial goal realistic. Make, wanting to be a millionaire. I get it, people. I really do. But I don't want to discourage anybody from wanting to be a millionaire. But financially manage and make goals for what you currently have, and then goals for, that long run of $1 million. Hey, can we say it that way? So tip 3 is going to be budgeting tools. And that's actually, like I said, I was jumping the gun a little bit, but your budgeting tools can be an app on your phone. It can be a spreadsheet with all your bills on it and just calculating what you're paying every payday. For me personally, like I said, I do everything in my journal. I track everything in my journal. I write my own budgets in my journal. I love to use colors. I'm a tangible person. That's why I stuff envelopes. I get my paychecks, stuff envelopes, and put my money in envelopes and spend the money outside of the envelopes, because I am a visual learner. So I have to see it, touch it to learn. So that's why I don't really like credit cards and I guess phone apps, things like that. I just I don't know. I'm a doodler. I like to doodle and I like to have colors. So, but definitely find budgeting tools that work for you. I do have some information in my blog about envelope stuffing, managing with a binder, things like that on my website if you want to check that out and kind of get acclimated to it and start your journey. What I love about journaling are about using a binder to have all of the things that I manage in my life is in one place in my binder. And I carry this binder with me everywhere I go. I mean, everywhere I go, because my envelopes are in the back of the binder. So, and that's where I stuff my money that I use on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it's a system that works for me. It is very important that you find a system that works for you, because you have to do it every 2 weeks or every week or how often you get paid. You have to deal with this. So you want to find something that's going to make you feel good every time you open up well, for me, I open up my binder my binder. But for you, if it's opening up an app and you're able to just kind of manage it wherever you go, because you can just open up your phone and you could be at, I don't know, the DMV or something, and manage your stuff on the phone. You definitely want to do something that works for you, because sometimes this is not the funnest things to do. But as adults, we have to do them. So I pride myself in being proficient, and I pride myself in taking good care of my family and providing for my family, because my children are my purpose, and I feel like my children is my life purpose, and God gave me my children to be the best parent that I can be for them. And when I'm winning, they're winning. All right, let's go to tip 4. Tip 4 is to stay disciplined. So when I say stay disciplined, I'm guilty for not being so disciplined myself. So I might go 2 months and just right on the money, getting everything right, writing down my bills, crossing them out when I get paid, and paying them. But sometimes I have not been perfect with this. And currently, I'm very proficient at it. Very proficient at it. One of the biggest things that I do is the moment I get paid, I open up my binder and I just start paying bills. That's the first thing I get out of the way. I just start paying bills the moment I get paid. Because what I have noticed in practicing discipline is that if you let the money linger for days, you are going to be spending money here and spending money there and spending money here and going here and doing that. And hey, then say you get paid on Monday, you done did all of these things, and then come Friday, you trying to budget, and you done spent $300-$400 off the rip. So just a tip for staying disciplined: try to pay your bills the moment that you get your paycheck, and have a system in place so you can stay disciplined and you clearly understand your system and what you're doing every payday. And the last thing I would say about being disciplined and staying disciplined, because only you can hold yourself accountable for what goals or whatever you set for your budget and what you're trying to accomplish, is to understand that we have to restart, reset, and refocus. We're not perfect. God didn't make us perfect, and we're not perfect people. So for me, when I did fall off, like I said, I've been very proficient with it now, because I have practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Ooh, practice makes perfect. But in the past, I would fall off, and I would feel guilty for falling off. And God showed me that He gave me a system to get back on track. So anytime I have fallen off, I wanted to feel guilty, and I didn't want to pick it back up and start over again. And I had to stop doing that. I had to start telling myself, no, you're going to restart, reset, and refocus, and you're going to hit it again. And you're going to pick up where you left off at. And the best part about me picking up where I left off at was that I wasn't never working with scratch. I had a system in place. All I had to do was just tap in. So that was the best part for me about staying disciplined, was even when I wasn't consistent, I still reset, restart, and refocus. That is one of my favorite sayings. You might see it on my page. You might see it on my platforms. It's very important to me. I feel like you could use this for everything in life. Instead of thinking about what you didn't do, you can focus on how you can start today on resetting, restarting, and refocusing. So that's my jig there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, my computer went down. We only have one more tip left, which is the 5th tip. Oh, the 5th tip, which I love so much. This is my favorite out of all the 5 tips. And I'm going to tell you why. The tip number 5 is to review and process. Our process and review. Our review and process. Process, review. Okay, enough. I'm going to tell you why this is my favorite step in budgeting. Because just like I was saying, reset, restart, and refocus, it also aligns with process and review. So when I fell off and I wasn't consistent, or whatever the situation was that I did not do a monthly budget for that month, to process and review what happened within that month that I did not accomplish a monthly budget and get the budget together is important. I need to understand what knocked me off. Why was I going through a depressive state? Was this just too much for me to handle? I had to process. I had, when I first started really intensely doing this in my life, I had goals that were like, would give myself like 20 goals in a whole month. And it was just so overwhelming for me that I would just quit. I wouldn't touch my binder. I wouldn't do anything for like a whole month. And God had to show me, you got to do this in baby steps. You have to, excuse me, sorry guys, I'm sweaty, but you have to do this in baby steps. You can't just jump right in here and think you're going to be able to do all these things when I couldn't even do anything when my son had passed. So it was very hard to even cook, clean, do laundry. It was very hard to do anything. To other people, that was just normal things to do. For me, it was a serious challenge. So to have 20 different goals to accomplish in the month was too much. And so that's why I did not complete anything, because it was too overwhelming for me. So I looked at the process in which I was trying to do these things. And then I reviewed what I was trying to do. And then I reset, restart, and refocus. So I changed it. I changed up my budgeting. I changed up how I was going to do this and how I was going to do that. I changed how I'm going to pay this bill and how I'm going to pay that bill. I changed how much money is going in this account and how many bills I can pay auto pay. So it's very important. It's so important to process and review your budget monthly, because you can keep perfecting this thing and perfecting this thing and perfecting this thing until it's like it's easy, until it's easy for you to do every month. Every month you perfect it and make it work for you. And then after a while, it becomes second nature. After you perfected it and you're comfortable with the system and everything is going smooth with the system, then hey, you got a system that works for you and your family. If you're doing good, your family's doing good. If you doing good and you ain't got no family, the dog doing good. You know what I'm saying? So so everybody doing good. You know what I mean? But I do think it's very important to make budgets, especially if you have children. But even with no children, you know, it's important to have a budget for any goals or anything that you want to accomplish in this life, because the only way you're really going to accomplish it is that if you really work at it and you really focus on this is what you want to do with your life and make points A, B, and C on how you're going to get there. So these are my 5 tips for budgeting. It's very, very, very important to me to get any content out that I know that God has blessed me with. Sometimes I feel like, oh, people know this content already and they're not going to want to hear this and all that good stuff, but that matters not to me. What matters to me is that there might be someone that this is a blessing to that haven't heard it before or haven't encountered it before. So for me, it's very important that I push through my pain. I try to be what I was looking for when I was going through pain. So when my son had passed away, I needed to know how to get through these things. And for me, having a system in place for everything that I had to do, from taking care of the kids, doctor's appointments, I needed to have the building address, phone number. I had to just organize everything in my life because my brain it wasn't normal. I even had to go through therapy. I believe I went through 6 months of therapy, and while I'm trying to fix me, my children are hurting too. So it was just a lot. And then I was going through an abusive relationship, and that added more stress and more drama to the situation. So I'm so grateful for God for where I am now. And I'm grateful he brought me out of the depression that I was going through with my son's death. And I'm grateful that he brought me out of that abusive relationship. And I'm grateful that he helped my children overcome the death of our son, and me for that matter, and made our family, me and my children, so close. We are very, very close. So I feel like my son served his purpose in whatever God had him to do, and so it was his time to go. And I honestly feel like one of those purposes was to bring us together, for us to want to go to heaven together, go to church together, serve God together. And I am grateful for everything that God has given me despite the death of my son. So for those that want to push through their pain, again, I'm just trying to give what I was looking for when I was going through that hard time. And just to let you know, ladies, fellas, it doesn't last always. They say time heals all things, and in a sense it does. But there's always going to be that lurking pain of not having him or my son next to me. But me fulfilling my purpose, me understanding that I want to fulfill my purpose like he fulfilled his purpose, gives me the hope and the strength that I need to keep going in this life. So thank you for spending time with me, and until next time, guys, bye.